Trump federal cases officially ended. Now, appeals court dropped documents case at Jack Smith's request. So we're going to talk about in details about this case. Now, the federal prosecution of Donald Trump officially came to an end on Tuesday when a federal appeals court dismissed Donald Trump's case for allegedly withholding White House documents after a special counsel, Jack Smith, asked on Monday that the felony charges against Donald Trump be dropped. And that honestly happened. And finally, Trump is getting free of all this craziness what's been happening since years. Now, here are the key facts. Smith said charges must be dismissed before he inaugurated in January due to DOJ's decades-old policy of not prosecuting sitting presidents. So that's a plus point for Donald Trump now. Now, the charges against Trump for withholding classified documents were dismissed by Florida-based federal judge earlier this year. But Smith's team dropped it because appeal of a decision in Trump's case on Monday, and 11th Circuit Court of Appeals dismissed that case Tuesday in response. Though Smith is still appealing the dismissal of its relates of two other defendants, the special counsel also asked a DC court Monday to drop election subversion charges. So, writing the DOJ and country have never faced the circumstances here where federal indictment against a private citizen has been returned by grand jury and criminal prosecution is already underway when the defendant is elected president, who is Donald Trump right now, and he is, I think, getting on a better way. So the whole point is, U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan accepted Smith's request on this Monday afternoon and dismissed the case without any problem. So that's again a very big win-win for Donald Trump. So again, the Smiths signaled that the case should come to an end weeks earlier on November 8th, 3 days after Donald Trump was elected the president of this United States. And Chutkan paused all deadline upon Smith's request, and Smith said he would provide a status report on December 2nd, but how he would proceed in this case. Now, on the other hand, Smith also made a similar request to pause his appeal of dismissal of Trump's criminal case in Florida over withholding White House documents on November 13th, saying that the government needed time to assess these unprecedented circumstances and determine the appropriate course going forward consistent with Department of Justice policy. So everything is going very smooth for Donald Trump. So one crucial quote by Donald Trump, he made it very clear that Trump responded to the cases being dropped, saying on Truth social media, these cases and the other has forced in New York and Georgia were empty and lawless and should never have been brought. So Trump continued, it was political hijacking and low point in the history of this country, United States, that such a thing could have happened, and yet I persevered against all odds and won this case. So now, what we gotta watch? We gotta watch for Smith's two cases were dismissed without any problem, and meaning the federal government could try and charge Donald Trump again after he leaves the office in 2028. Though it's unclear that if they will, and doing so would be allowed under stated of limitations. Now, what is the key background that we are watching? It's very clear that Trump was charged by the Justice Department in August 2023 with trying to overturn his 2020 election loss. One of 4 indictments brought against Donald Trump at the state and the federal level, historic move marking the first time a former president has faced criminal charges. Now, Donald Trump attempted to have the charges thrown out by arguing he had presidential immunity. and the Supreme Court ultimately sided with him. Now, ruling mostly in his favor by saying he could not be charged for any activities that were official presidential duties if he was on that. So after the court's ruling, Smith's team issued a new slimmed down indictment against Donald Trump in August for the same 4 felonies. And the second indictment more clearly argued Donald Trump was not acting as a president in his effort to overturn the election of 2020, what happened, but was acting as a presidential candidate separately. Now, Trump was indicted in federal documents case last June for allegedly withholding national security documents and obstructing justice. Prosecutor alleged Trump initially tried to conceal classified documents and prevent them from being returned to the government, leading to 40 federal felony charges. And on the other hand, also Trump argued he would legally allowed to have the documents because of Presidential Records Act, though experts said his arguments was flawed absolutely. Again, Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to all criminal charges brought against him and described them as a witch hunt. So by President Joe Biden's DOJ in an attempt to ruin his presidential campaign. So in this October, before he was elected, Trump said he would return to White House and he would fire Smith within 2 seconds and called the prosecutor a scoundrel and a very bad man and a dishonest man. So this is the whole point for Trump now standing here very clean and clear. So tangent. Last week, Trump's criminal sentencing in his New York hush money case was postponed indefinitely. Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records and was scheduled to be sentenced on November 26. But Judge Juan Merchan paused the sentencing and asked for briefs on whether the case should be dismissed to be filed by December 9th or not. So there's not a yet clear path forward for when the sentencing could be honestly taking place, but prosecutors proposed sentencing could be delayed until after Donald Trump leaves his office in 2028. Meanwhile, Trump's criminal charges in Georgia for trying to reverse his election loss are on hold also during an appeal court file over the prosecutors. So the first part he got very clear, and now on the second part for the Georgia for 2020 case, and this is standing still in his problem. But he is not absolutely clear, but we will wait and watch what will happen more on December 6th. So what court will do and what they will decide to drop this case totally or not, or to go with this case forward. Probably they might try really to hold him for this kind of problems till 2028, and after 2028 when his term will get done, probably they might really pull him into this kind of big problem. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, acting as a president right now, president-elect, when he'll come into full power in January, he will take his stand and he will try to dismiss these cases entirely so the court will not again bring him into these kind of trials or problems, whatever he's facing, and he will be free of everything. So one thing is very clear, that Donald Trump's position right now as the president of the United States from January, when he will be acting as this for this position, it's very clear he will try to clear out all the cases, what it'll take in his power, and he will try to do that. And I think so it's better for him if he does, because it'll be more good. Because what I think so, there are also been a little bit misunderstandings here, but honestly, personally, I have no idea. I'm just delivering the news, what are the sources really saying. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you really liked the video. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe the channel for more and more videos. And let me know in the comments below, what do you think, where this case is heading, and what Donald Trump will do. Now he has full power, the highest authority in the United States he has, and now what he can do with his power. And what I think personally, he will try to dismiss all the cases and he will try to stay clean even after his term finishes in 2028. Thank you so much. Probably see you in the next video. Bye-bye.